the Business of Dance podcast, where you'll learn what it takes to create your dream professional dance career.
Join us as we dive into the insights and experiences of the world's top dance industry professionals, including dancers, choreographers, agents, casting directors, educators, and other dance industry experts.
We explore a diverse range of topics, from personal development and mental skills to audition techniques, creating meaningful industry connections, social media marketing, seeking out dance agents and casting opportunities, on-the-job etiquette, talent unions, pitching to the media, health, finances, and so much more.
Here is your host, Menina Fortunato.
So, hello everybody and welcome to today's Business of Dance Talk. We have a very special guest here that I first met 10 years ago. Can you believe that? 2012. He did the Hollywood Summer Tour. He was just a teen back then, competitive dancer from Massachusetts. And now he is living his dream life, living in Los Angeles as a dancer, teacher, choreographer, and international model. He's worked with the best of the best, Alicia Keys, Cartier. I just recently finished a tour with Lady Gaga. Please help me welcome Kyle Ponte. Woo-hoo.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome. So good to see you.
I know.
So long.
A whole decade. That is like,
yes.
That's like mind blowing to me. This is so crazy.
Yes. So glad to have you here. I'm just really excited for the dancers to really hear your story because you were in the position that they are in now. You know, you were once a competition dancer. The whole thought of a professional career when I met you was just like, felt like the impossible. And so I really would like for everyone to hear your story. I want to go from the beginning. So if you can kind of share when you started dancing, how that all came about, kind of what you did in your younger years leading up to now.
Yeah, exactly what you said 10 years ago, like being the professional dancer that I am today felt like impossible. Yeah, I just didn't know how it was even possible to get all the things that I needed or do all the things that I needed to do or meet all the people that I needed to do like years ago. It just felt so crazy. But yeah, I grew up in Massachusetts where I just trained at my local dance studio in Tiverton, Rhode Island. And then my junior year of high school is when I actually won the scholarship to the Hollywood Summer Tour. And I remember winning this scholarship and just being like, oh my God, my dreams are coming true. Not realizing all of the work that needs to follow that, but like just winning that scholarship, I was just like, this is it. Like I grew up on a farm in Massachusetts, so I really am the real life living like Hannah Montana. Like it was just the complete opposite of what I wanted to do with my life, but it was how I was raised. So yeah, I got the scholarship and then I came out to California and did the intensive, and I ended up meeting someone who I guess fell in love with, who also won the scholarship. He was from Canada. And then the following year, when we graduated high school, we moved out to California together and started living. So like the Hollywood Summer Tour to me was like the trial run. It was like, this is what you could do with your life. And I had all of the tools, or I got to see all of the tools for the very first time, or like get a taste of what it was that I was about to dive into. And then the following year did it, or started my journey of doing it, which was just so mind blowing. It's really, really crazy.
How long have you been in LA now?
I mean, 2013 was when I first moved out here. Yeah. And then I kind of moved around a lot. I moved back home to Massachusetts and taught there for a couple of years, and then moved back, and then moved back again, and then moved to China, and then moved back again.
Oh my gosh, what was in China? What were you doing there?
Well, I started doing a lot of work, a lot of industrial work, which is where I started doing like the jobs with Cartier. So in China is where I started doing like the industrial work, which, I started in, I think 2017. I would go out for like a couple weeks out of the year. And then in 2019, I moved there because I was just kind of booking a lot, and it was just really, really amazing. And I was like, I'm going to do this. So I moved out there, but then COVID hit. So then I went home for a second and then came back to California. I think the
So China was kind of recent.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was recent.
And what part in Beijing or in Shanghai?
I was in Shanghai. But
Okay.
I worked in Beijing and stuff as well. Yeah,
That's
I was.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So were you seeking out all the work yourself, or did you have an agent?
I kind of had this like manager at the time who was originally from California, but he moved out there and he was kind of booking me around with some jobs. And then there was some production company where they would, connect all the pieces. And yeah,
That's amazing. I mean, that's a really cool experience.
yeah,
Now you're back in LA and life
yeah,
is
no,
more normal now, so
yeah,
you
yeah,
can get back on track to where you want to be.
yeah.
Amazing. So a lot of bouncing back and forth between Massachusetts to LA, a little China in there, back to LA. What have you been working on recently?
Well, right now the industry is like it's starting to slow down, but I'm kind of just waiting to see. I mean, I just wrapped the tour this summer, which was great, but now I'm kind of just waiting to see what auditions are kind of coming up next. I travel a lot and do a lot of choreography. So the past 2 months, or past month, I've been bouncing all over the US. Right now, I have like 2 weeks to relax. So I'm like recharging, just spending time with my dog, doing absolutely nothing. And then I start again, and I hit like the Midwest, the East Coast, and then I'll come back here.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I do a lot of traveling and choreography.
That's good. That's good. Is that what we would say? Because one thing that I talk to dancers a lot, and even their parents, they know this industry is very much gig related.
Mhm.
And what are you doing to fill in the holes and the gaps in between those big gigs? And it sounds like it's teaching. Is that what you're doing? The traveling?
Well, the thing that I try to instill in my students or kids that I work with is I started the opposite. So I moved to California in 2013. I trained out in Yorba Linda at Mather Dance Company, if anyone knows what that is, Shannon Mather. That's where I trained. And then after that, I went home because I really wanted to learn how to be like a great teacher. So when I say I did it the opposite, I feel like my focus was how do I become like a good choreographer and a good teacher first, which is what I've been working on mostly the past 10 years is a lot of choreography. And then now that I'm at a place where I'm financially stable because of that career that I set up, I kind of just take whatever gigs come my way. Whereas I feel like sometimes dancers come out to LA and they kind of cross their fingers and hope that they book jobs. And to me, that just stressed me out. Like I like security. So I was like, how can I make sure that I'm okay and my bills are paid? And then, because if I don't book a job, it's not the end of the world. I'll be okay because I have my teaching jobs lined up or I've built those connections. It's easier to build those connections, at least for me. This could be wrong, but for me, it was easier to build like the studio relationships and then just kind of book the jobs when they come my way, I guess. That's the route that I took, but may not work for everyone.
No, that's great. I mean, have you ever had to seek out what they call the 9-to-5 job at any point in your career, or have you been able to sustain off of just the industry type work?
Yeah, I never did have to do the 9 to 5, which I think is because when I was 17, I started being like, how do I become a good dance teacher? Because someone always needs a dance teacher, I think. So yeah, I really focused on that and got good at that. So then I wouldn't have to get a 9 to 5, say I didn't book this next tour that's coming up or this music video or something like that. I always had that safety net, but it was still in the industry, so I didn't feel, I don't know, a certain way. But I don't think that there's a wrong way to go about any of this. But for me, I think that worked the best.
Yeah, I mean, it's all interconnected, whether you're dancing or teaching or choreographing. Yeah. It's still in the same area. You're not like
still building relationships and networking and making connections in the same world.
Yes.
For me, I was like, if I go get a job at a restaurant where there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like that would be taking hours away from the world that I was trying to get into.
100%. 100%. Now, what are some learning lessons that you've realized along the way? Because I'm sure your journey, everyone's journey looks like something like this. Looking back, is there anything you would have done differently? Or is there anything that you wish you knew sooner? Or is there anything that like you realized that was like a pivotal moment for you that you think that these dancers need to know about?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm learning lessons every single second of my life still to this day at 28. Like it never, ever ends. And right now, I feel like a lesson that I'm learning is that if you're not ready, someone else on the side of you is going to be ready. And I feel like we've kind of heard that, but it is really, really true. Like like for instance, like if you're not training in a specific style as hard as you could be, someone else on the side of you is going to get that job. Or if you're lacking in hip hop because you were just nervous or insecure about training in those classes, the person who wasn't nervous or insecure about training in those classes is going to get the job. And I feel like that is something that I'm learning right now. It's like there were things that maybe I held back in, and there's someone else on the side of me who's like, that's mine, I'll take it. And I'm like, dang it, I wish that I just tried a little bit harder in this, or I, cared about this a little bit more. Yeah, I feel like.
Is there any particular skill that you realized that was so critical in your career that you didn't expect? Or was there something that you wish you had a skill in that may have changed the trajectory of your career path?
I mean, I feel like I kind of feel like I wish that personally for me, I wish that maybe I was better at tricks or flipping out tricks and training in that area. I mean, yeah,
it goes up to here.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but like nowadays, dancers are like ninja warriors. Like they are crazy. So I feel like maybe gymnastics is the word that I'm looking for. I wish that this is personally for me. I wish that if someone was like, "Show me your trick," I was like, "Dong, dong, 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 boom!" Like I could do that personally. Yeah, I feel like that's a nice little like special skill that sets you apart from someone else or makes you look. Yeah,
sure, 100%. So what are some future goals? I mean, you've done some amazing work up until this point. You're still young, but you still have many years to go in this industry if that's what you want. Do you have any future career goals in mind? Anything you haven't explored yet that you would like to transition to one day? What's in Kyle's future?
Yeah. Future goals for me like I was saying before, I feel like I got my teaching choreography career to a place where I want it to be. So now I kind of just want to really focus on booking as much as possible. I've done a handful of great things over the past couple of years, but I wasn't always financially in a place where I could take the job or I could risk going to the audition because I needed to make sure that my bills were going to be paid. That's the scary thing about this industry. It is that uncertainty. But now I'm okay enough to just kind of dive in and really close my eyes and just hope for the best and be okay. So another tour would be great. That would be fun. I really like to travel. So all the jobs that I've done in like China and yeah, all over Asia, those were probably my favorite because I like to travel a lot. So anything that involves traveling, that would be a huge future goal of mine.
So traveling and dance. If we can,
I like to dance and travel. I like to get it all in. Yeah.
100%. Well, tours are definitely the best way to do it, especially on someone else's dime. You get to see the world. Speaking of the world, what are some cool places you've been to because of dance?
I would definitely say Asia. I feel like the work that I did in Asia or China specifically, Shanghai that was my favorite. I really because it was just obviously extremely different than what we're exposed to here. And I personally believe that when you throw yourself in like a very uncomfortable, different situation, that's when you grow the most. So when I think of where Kyle personally grew the most, I would want to say it was when I was working in China. So those jobs really resonate with me a lot.
Cool. Well, yeah. I've never been to mainland China. I've only been to Hong Kong, so that's pretty cool. Did you ever learn Mandarin or Cantonese?
I started learning a bit of Mandarin. Yeah, when I was living there for the couple of months before COVID happened.
Right.
Enough to like get by. It's extremely hard, but yeah.
Yeah, because I hear that, I mean, in Hong Kong, they speak a lot of English, but the mainland China, there's pockets where it's like, there's nobody that speaks English.
Yeah.
How did you manage?
I mean, that was always the most stressful part. When I first started working there, I would come out of these rehearsals like starving and sweating and tired. And I would like go into like a mom and pop type shop to order food and they would speak no English. And in those moments, I just wanted to like scream and cry, which is why I was like, okay, I really want to focus and start learning how to communicate just enough. So if I'm in that situation, I can be like, I want this, please. Like, but yeah.
Understood. Understood.
Yeah.
Now, just to kind of give dancers, because we always hear about, the starving artists and dancing was up and down, but let's talk about some of like the best paying gig opportunities, just so that the dancers can understand what is possible. Like what it would be if you're open to sharing like your best paying gig as a dancer or your best paying gig as a teacher or as a choreographer. Like what have you been able to make some highlighted moments?
Yeah. I feel like I keep circling back to being a dance teacher or choreographer. And that's personally because I think that I'm a little bit of a control freak. So that is something that you're fully in control of. There are great jobs that you may get, or you see these emails for these auditions, and you may think that it's going to be so much money, and maybe it's not, or maybe it's the complete opposite. Maybe you're like, oh, this is going to be nothing. And then you see it and you're like, wow, this industry job is paying so much money. So it's always hard to say in the industry, but with yourself as a dance teacher, you can decide how much you want to get paid. Like that is completely up to you. So I think that if you become really good at your craft as a teacher or choreographer, you can go out there and charge $100,000 for a solo. Like, do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean?
I don't know if anyone's done that one though.
No, I know, but it's something that you can charge whatever you want. If someone's gonna pay it, then
yeah. We had a talk with Alex Long, and he shared with us that his starting rate for a brand for social media is 15,000 for a one video.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. His brand, like
his brand. That's what his agent negotiates for him.
You can't show up to your Adidas campaign and be like, actually, right now, I want you to pay me $10,000 to do this one Batman and Lee set. I mean, you can once you hit a certain level of celebrity or influencer, but majority of us, there's a number on a piece of paper and you're like, okay, this is what it is.
Speaking of the whole influencer world, has that been an obstacle? Have you noticed the industry, because industry has been changing so much of this whole influencer world, so much about how many followers do you have, blah, blah, blah. Has that affected your career? Have you ever noticed anything? Have you missed out on opportunities because you didn't have the millions of followers? How has that affected you in your career?
I don't know if I've ever been affected by it. Of course, I've auditioned for things and they've asked for my social media. They may have looked at my Instagram and been like, oh, not enough followers, and I didn't book the job. But I don't know if it's personally affecting me in that way. I think that's maybe a topic I don't.
Or have you gotten any work because of social media? Somebody seen something online and book you for something?
Even someone like me, I don't have a lot of followers in comparison to a lot of the other dancers in the industry right now. And I'm booking a lot of choreography work through my social media. So people will see things that I repost but I've definitely gotten work through DMs, which is exciting. I mean, because there's always two ways to this topic. It's either like, oh, I hate it, I don't have 1 million followers, but you may go to an audition and your 1 million followers may hurt you because a pop star may not want someone who's cooler than them on social media on the side of them. It's just it's one of those things where it can go either way. But for me as a dancer choreographer, it's rocking and rolling. It's great.
That's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, before I open it up to Q&A for the dancers, do you have any final words of advice that you would like to give anybody watching, whether they're a dancer, whether they're a dance parent, anything that you feel is just so valuable in your life, in your career that you'd like to share?
Yeah. A piece of advice that I wish younger Kyle took as well would be to just not care so much. I feel like growing up in training, I cared so much about what other people thought of me or how I maybe would have looked in this certain class. So I didn't push myself as hard. And especially nowadays with social media, we're constantly all comparing ourselves and there's just a lot of pressure. And I think that once you kind of just let it go and not care too much about it, I think that's when you're going to grow the most. So I would say just relax and do exactly what you want to do,
Enjoying the process.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, we actually have hands up. Victoria, you were first. Emily, you go next. All right, go for it.
Okay, so here's one that I've thought of. What would you say is like the best way for, I guess just for you, to find like job opportunities and gigs and stuff like that and auditions?
Well, I think that once you get signed with an agency, they kind of do that work for you. But before that,
Mhm.
I think there's websites like Backstage. Do you know what they're called, Menina?
There's a few. There's LA Casting.
LA Casting. Yeah, you can just
It's called Casting Networks, but there's
Casting
LA Casting. There's Actors Access.
Yeah.
Or Backstage. Yeah, there's a few different casting. There's
I-
sometimes random stuff on Craigslist.
Yeah, I would just say seeking. I mean, we have everything literally in the palm of our hands with our phones. I would say just, yeah, look through all of those lovely websites. And
Sounds
Okay.
good. Emily, you want to go next?
Hi, nice to meet you. I was just wondering, like, especially from where you came from, like, who is someone or like some people that were super like influential or like inspirational to where you are now?
I promise Menina did not pay me to say this, but 100% her. She was one of them for sure. Of course, it was my dance teachers at home. And yeah, but definitely when I won that scholarship when I was a junior in high school, I was a 17-year-old farm boy. I had no idea what it was like. I didn't even know what California looked like. So when I had the opportunity to come out here and do that whole week intensive, it was just like, oh, this is real life. Like this is possible. Like you can do this, Kyle. So yeah, definitely that whole summer tour for me was like just completely opened up a whole other part of my brain that it was possible to become a professional dancer. Yeah.
Living your dreams. I love it.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
I live for that. I mean, and you're just one of many success stories along the way. Can you believe I've been doing this 18 years with the Hollywood Summer Tour? And
Mhm.
just to see, and some of these dancers that you're talking to right now also did the program this summer or in past years as well. So they've been where you've been. So it's very hopeful to be able to see someone like you that were once that competitive teen dancer with these big dreams and didn't even think of it as a possibility. And here you are now traveling the world, doing what you love and getting paid to do it. So that's just so inspirational and makes me so happy to hear. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. Are you kidding? I want to be living in my dream apartment right now.
Oh, I love that. Speaking of farms, I have to pull Shauna out. You keep mentioning making references to farms.
Oh,
Shauna lives on a farm with 100 cattle,
no way. That is a big farm.
and her dad has a trucking company with a fleet of 100 trucks as well. And her mom has 8 kids and homeschools them all.
Oh my goodness. That is a busy family.
Yeah. So, Shauna, I won't speak. Shauna, do you have a question for him? Because you kind of come from a similar, upbringing. And here he is living, his dream life. And I know that's something we've talked about. You want to be living in the big city and dancing and touring and traveling the world. So now's your chance to pick the brain of somebody who's been where you've been.
You said that you got into choreography. What made you start getting income and getting studios to like want you to be there?
Building good relationships and being a good person. I stand by that. And I think that goes back to almost like another piece of advice I would give to dancers is if you have a good heart, a good soul, and you genuinely care about others, good things will come your way. Because there are incredible choreographers that are 1,000 times better than me, but they may go into these dance studios or, and opportunities in front of them, and they don't do such a great job as a human being, and they're not that nice, then they're not probably going to be asked back. Personally, that's just kind of how I went. That just worked for me. It was being nice, I want to say. Of course, doing a good job. And it takes years and years of practice. Like anything, I look back at what I was choreographing 7 years ago, and I'm like, oh God. But but that's because I'm constantly growing. Like we can all do that. Look at a solo you did 5 years ago, and you're maybe like, uh-oh. Yeah, I think that being a nice person and building good relationships, because good relationships can last a long time. And that means income as well lasts a long time as a dance teacher. Yeah.
Amazing. Everyone at Mecca says hi.
They're exactly what I'm talking about. Making a great relationship. That is a studio in Texas. I've been going there for years. And it's like, I'm sure I could go in there and do just good dance steps, but be a diva or a pain in the butt to work with. They would probably not ask for me to come back, but being nice, Helps a lot in life.
It's so true. I mean, that was actually one of the advice that Alex Wong said. If, just being the nicest person in the room, just being pleasant to work with, because there are so many talented people in this industry. And yes, talent is important, but it only will get you so far, because if you're not pleasant to be around, nobody wants to work with you.
Yeah,
Even if
you're
you
a
are talented, people don't want to be around that. You're a headache. We don't want that.
There's too many talented people. I'm telling you, if exactly that. If you are a nice, genuine person and a good energy to be around, you're gonna cut the line always. Like, I mean, that's how I've been living my life, and I think it's been working out. So I stand by that so much.
No, it's absolutely so important. Now, just to kind of go back to Shauna's question, what would advice that you would give someone like her who is on a farm right now? Just so you know her situation, she trains at our local studio, but she's also touring with Ash on their convention.
Mm-hmm.
So she's assisting and performing with them. So that's kind of her way of getting out of her small town to be able to expose herself to different environments. What are some things someone like her could do that lives on a farm that doesn't have the opportunities accessible to them? What could she do to eventually get to the big city and pursue the career and get herself known and out there?
Yeah. Well, nowadays it's a bit easier because we have social media to network. And also, if she's training on ASH, which is a convention that travels, I think that making good relationships with people will, of course, help. And again, circling back to maybe what I said, something that I'm struggling with right now is like, always be ready, like be training. If you're stuck on your farm, like I danced all on my farm, all over the place in the summers, and then like was always at the studio. Like, even though I was stuck in this bubble, like I was getting myself so ready for when I was in California, I could handle as much as things were thrown at me. I mean, of course, not everything, but like, be ready to just train your butt off while you're there, because you're being productive for your time, where you would maybe rather be running around New York City or LA, but like you can be you can be more productive than those people while you're home, because you're in one spot training and getting ready for everything. Whereas I would say just be as productive as possible with your time in your hometown. So then when you get to the city or wherever it is you want to go, you can handle everything.
Totally. We have a question from Darcy from Las Vegas. She has Milana, who's an 11-year-old dancer. How do you not get discouraged and stay motivated when you're not getting noticed?
I'm a huge community person, so I think that surrounding yourself with the best possible people helps a lot. Because I think I want to say this industry, but I just think any industry, no matter where it is that you're working or whatever it is that you're doing, like human beings, we always get discouraged at times. Like it's just a natural feeling that's going to happen sometimes. And I think that if you're surrounding yourself with people who really love you and care about you, it's easier to kind of put the pieces together and then take that next step. I would say, yeah, surround yourself with good people. It helps a lot.
Absolutely. Because this business is not easy, and there's a lot of rejection, a lot of no's, a lot of failure. My post of the day, I think I said, success is just failure over and over again without losing enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm. And also maybe not putting too much pressure on, maybe it's a specific job you want. Or for me, say there's a music video that I just auditioned for yesterday. Let's say it would be unhealthy for me to be emotionally so attached to it. Like, I need to book this job. Like, if I don't book this job, like I'm not going to be good, or you got to get all those words out of your head and just be like, if I book it, great. If I don't, there's something better waiting around the corner for me. The way you talk to yourself mentally is extremely important in this industry, but I think in life in general.
That's great advice. No, because I know what it's like to be in that position where you want a job so badly, or you need the job so badly. And sometimes that pressure doesn't serve you. And if you just put all your heart out on the dance floor, do your best, and you walk away, move on to the next. And if you get it, great. If not, oh well. There's so many variables that we forget about, that we don't realize that we have no control over. You may be too short, too tall, too this, too that. Or you may be, they're best friends with the other person, and they're a conflict with you, whatever. There's so many circumstances that have nothing to do with you. at the end of the day.
And it's never going to stop. Like, you're never going to get to a point in your career, like, no matter how famous or how talented you are, exactly what we're talking about right now, it's never going to end. I submitted for, I want to say 3 things the past couple of weeks. I didn't get any of them. It doesn't, like, my life is, I'm fine. I'm happy. My life is still going to go on. Like, it's just, and probably in a couple of weeks, I'm going to submit for 10 more things and I may not get those either. It also helps you appreciate when you do get these cool jobs. You know, like, you truly, at least for me, when I do book something exciting, I'm truly grateful.
We only see the good stuff online. We only see the good stuff on the resume, but we don't see all the rejection.
All of these superstars that we're looking up to, they're getting rejected too. Like, it's, everyone is. Like, it's not exactly that. You may be too short. You may not be as close as friends with the choreographer. Like, it's just, it's something that's inevitable. So you need, and it's not in your control either. So you can't let it get to you. I think that's really important.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Kiana, you haven't gone yet. Go ahead.
When you were talking about how you were in China and working in like a different like country and like all the good things, but are there any like setbacks or things that we should like look out for that were difficult for you?
I can't think of any setbacks. I want to say the hardest thing at first was probably the culture shock, just that goes with any country other than ours, kind of living a life that, because I would live there for a couple weeks at a time. So it was difficult to live in an area that I was so unfamiliar with. And then especially not being able to speak the language, that's extremely difficult as well. But nothing extremely discouraging. Also, it's super exciting to get to travel and work somewhere else. So I was, even though I was struggling and wanting to like cry at times, I was like so grateful because I was like, look at my life. I'm in China. I never thought that I would ever come here, never mind get paid to be here. So again, yeah, being grateful for every little moment that happens in your life.
Thank you.
That is the cool part. You get paid to travel.
Yeah, that is my favorite part about being a dancer, because I love
100%.
to travel. Yeah.
No, I love to travel too. And that was a real actually shock even for my own career, is because I've done several tours, I've always been used to getting paid to travel. So then now that I have a family and I have to
now you have a family.
I have to buy 5 airline tickets every time we travel. And I'm like, oh my God.
No, you're the tour manager.
Right? Like, this is expensive. I remember getting paid to travel to all these different countries, and then I get per diem, so I had spending money to go explore and to eat out and do all the things. So to suddenly have to pay to travel now is like, oh wow, I miss tour life. You don't realize it until it's gone. So I love that you're touring. Take advantage of it now, and I hope that you can do it for the rest of your life. But there may come a time where you may want to pay to travel, and that's going to be a harsh reality. Okay, I think we've got Charlotte. What did she say? She says, I always struggled with my confidence at auditions. At the last major audition in 2016, I remember saying to one of the moms, if I don't get this, it's a sign that I need to stop dancing. Landing that gig as one of the oldest girls there was huge for me. I was just a music video, but there were hundreds of auditioners. What would you say to her, Charlotte?
Well, again, I think that watching the way that you talk to yourself is so important. Like, putting that pressure on you. Like, if I don't book this, I'm just stopping. Like, I don't believe in talking to yourself that way. It's just turn that narrative into more of a positive. Like, it's like, oh, if I don't book this, it's not meant to be. There's something else waiting around the corner for me. Confidence is a hard topic to kind of face in this industry, but I think that also tying in all of the little things I've said, surrounding yourself with good people, listening to good podcasts, like really having in-depth conversations with other people, making sure your mental health is really strong. Because then you'll look at these auditions like, nah, yeah, like you'll try, but it's not a make or break or a deal or no deal. Yeah, I would say really exercising the mental health. That's very, very, very important.
Yeah, and the self talk, because Charlotte's just chimed in and says, she says, skinny girls always intimidated me. So I think that goes back into the self-talk. And
Yeah, I mean, again, that topic will, right now, I feel insecure because I don't look like a Magic Mike dancer. Like, I don't have these big muscles. That's something that I'm maybe struggling with in this very moment, but it's not in the cards for me right now. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that my body is wrong or the skinny girls are right and the heavier girls are wrong. Like, there's no right or wrong. We're all human beings. So
and we're all different. And the cool thing is the industry is changing. So Charlotte, just a message to you. I was just at Lizzo's concert on Monday to go see two of my friends are in the show, and the entire cast was bigger girls. And the game has changed. 20 years ago, we didn't see that. Now we're seeing all different body types that are working in the industry. So that's no longer, like from the ballet world, we were once taught that there was a specific body type for dance, but we have now seen that no longer applies.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just, you don't want to be around those people anyways who aren't accepting of everyone.
Totally. If you got the skills, you got the goods, that you can do the job. Great.
Yeah.
And Charlotte also says, I'm of Menina's generation, LOL. So yes, the industry was different when I started. I can't tell you how many breakdowns that I saw that was 18 to 25, sexy, body conscious, tight fit bodies. That's all I ever saw on breakdowns. Now, thankful for me at the time, I did fit the mold, but that's changed. I really, truly believe that's changed. Allie has a question from Texas. She says, I find myself being a perfectionist and being hard on myself. Any advice on how to overcome this?
This is a tough question because I am a perfectionist, and this is something that I'm still struggling with. So learn from my mistakes. I guess I don't have the right answer, but I know that I hold myself back because I am a perfectionist. I'm putting back the photo shoot because my abs will be better in 2 weeks, or my skin will be better. And like, I'm always pushing things back because I'm like, when I'm ready, but all I'm doing is I'm hurting myself because I'm just wasting time. If I feel better in a couple of weeks, then do it again. But like, I feel like just ripping the Band-Aid off. I once listened to this, it was a podcast, and this woman once said that there's like a 5-second method or something. And it's like, just count down from 5 and you just do it. And I've been kind of been applying that to my life. Like, if I'm thinking about doing something, I just count down from 5 and I send the email and I'm like, okay, I'm going to book it. I'm going to do it. Or I want to create a concept video. I love doing those things. And I'm always like, I'm going to push it back. I'm going to wait just when I'm ready. But then I count down from 5 and I text the videographer. I'm like, let's do it next week. Or when I'm at the gym, I'm like, I really don't want to do this. I count down from 5 and I just, I get it done.
Now, Charlotte says it's the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. Is that what you're talking about, Kyle?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, it reminds me of a quote that one of my coaches tells me all the time is ready, fire, aim. Because we're taught to ready, aim, fire, but it's ready, fire, aim. So it's literally just, you're never ready. There's never a good time. You just go for it. And then you break things along the way and then you figure it out as you go.
Yeah, I feel like that. Yeah, that definitely has helped me a lot as being such a perfectionist. And also, like we always say, someone on the side of you is going to do it just as good, if not better. So just you do it before they get to do it. Like, it's just, it's never going to end. So yeah, just go for it.
100%. Phoenix, we haven't heard from you today. Do you have a question before we go to Victoria?
I was actually going to ask, what is your biggest tip for like when you audition, like in person?
To be yourself. And because I feel like I catch myself, like when I prep for an audition, I always am like, oh, I need to look this specific way, or I try to fit the mold. And I think that because when you book the job and you're not what they thought you were going to be, that's awkward. I think that 100% being yourself, like in your improv and in the way you move, like don't try to fit the mold. And if you don't book the job, then it wasn't meant for you. And if you do book the job, then you're exactly what they wanted. Yeah, I would say 100% be yourself. And I know that sounds silly, but I feel like it helps a lot.
I think it's so true. We did an interview with Shirley not too long ago, and she said something that was so hit with me is that there is no other you on this planet. You are unique, you are special. And remember that at every audition, that nobody in this room is you. So you just need to show the people in that room why you are so special.
Yeah.
And then you about everybody else.
Yeah, no. And you can, of course, read the room, understand what you're auditioning for, but like always add a little bit of yourself into it, whether it's your outfit or your improv. Because like I said, when they book you, they're going to be like, oh, this is exactly what we wanted. He's exactly, or she's exactly what we thought she was going to be. But if I go out to an audition and I'm like popping and locking, and because that is so not me, and then I get to on set and they're like, hey, do your thing. And I'm all, oh, actually, it's not actually really me. Like, it's going to be awkward. Or
I love that. Okay, Victoria, you had your hand up. You're very patient. What question do you have?
Yeah, I came up with another question. So you were talking about being a teacher and a choreographer. I wanted to ask a little bit about the choreographer aspect. Do you kind of mean just like as a teacher as well that you do that? Or like what kind of stuff as a choreographer do you do? Do you do stuff just like for music videos, for projects, for like professional companies? Or yeah, if you could speak on that a little bit, I would be interested.
Yeah, definitely. I started choreographing just at competition dance studios because I felt like that was, for me, that was a safe place to kind of play around with my brain and figure out exactly who I am as a choreographer. And yeah, try to master my craft there. I still do a lot of that. That's mostly what I do. I do a lot of competition routine choreography, but as on top of that, I'm really into videography as well. So in the past handful of years, I've choreographed a lot of concept videos. And that's kind of what I continue to do. That's where I'm at right now as a choreographer, would be competition dance and then like videography stuff. I like to create videos.
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
Well, our time is almost up with Kyle. So Kyle, were there any final words that you would like to share?
Final words. This is the most important, I feel like. For me, I feel like the biggest piece of advice I can give, which we kind of touched on it, but it's something I'm extremely passionate about, so I need to maybe repeat it, is being genuinely a great human. I think, and I know from personal experience, that when you are truly giving good out into the universe or whatever it is you believe in, just good comes your way, whether that's relationships or that's work. And I've experienced it myself when I'm on this positive, healthy life track and I'm genuinely loving everything and being grateful for everything that's happening to me, all of the good and the bad. I get a lot of great things in return. And I think that that's so important to truly believe in within this industry, because it is so easy to book a really cool job and then become maybe not so nice of a person. And I think that you get more out of life and work, no matter what it is you're doing, when you're truly being a genuine, nice human being. Yeah. And also life is so short. You never know what could happen. So I think that just enjoying and being grateful for every second in your life and in this industry as much as possible. I think that is so important.
Words of advice. I couldn't agree with you more. It was a pleasure having you, a pleasure seeing you after so long. Wish you all the best on the next chapter of your journey. Please stay in touch. Dancers, don't be shy. Feel free to reach out to Kyle. He's an amazing human. Find him on Instagram and send him a quick message. And I think that wraps it up. So thank you so much, Kyle.
Thank you so much.
And that concludes another episode of the Business of Dance podcast.
We hope you found today's conversation insightful and gained valuable knowledge.
Be sure to join us next time for more inspiring interviews with top professionals in the dance industry.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to The Business of Dance on your favorite platform and take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.
This podcast is brought to you by the Business of Dance online mentorship program to help aspiring professional dancers create their dream dance careers.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.